What's up, everybody? I haven't fallen off the face of the planet. It's just been a couple wild months. Unfortunately, there's not going to be much on the bus on this video. This is just a prequel of things to come. As I mentioned, I believe in some past videos, we did move to Texas. Yes, thank you, Lone Star State. I'm free. And these projects here of just getting settled have prevented me from working on the bus, and I couldn't bring the bus because the air pressure won't shut down. Unfortunately, during the move, I lost a bunch of footage of trying to solve that problem, so we'll be backtracking on there. But right now, we're just trying to get a spot to land the bus, so we've cleared this. It's going to sit right here for now, but this is a nasty brown clay, so if it rains, that bus will just go plop, and I'll get a nice expensive tow bill to get it out of here. So we got to get this all staged up and ready to go. But I still have a few other projects to finish. We built the chicken coop, and we've got the patio. So here we have the fluffy butt hut. It's almost finished, about 95% done. What's up, guys? What are you guys up to? We got 7 in there. We had 10, but one of the dogs dug under the door, so now we're down to 7. Over there is where the shop is going to go, but that's a long ways out. Just no moving sucks. So beginning September 16th, we are going to be commencing Operation Prevost Freedom, which is where we're going to liberate the bus from California. And bring it back here to Texas to finish it up. Now I've conned some friends and family into giving me a hand with this because, like I say, we have to fix the air overcharging problem. I believe it's the governor now, because I did change out the air dryer. I had to think of what the hell it was called. And I had a bunch of footage of that, and in the move, I managed to lose that external hard drive, so that stuff's gone. But that didn't solve my issue, so we're going next to the governor. So basically, we have to go back, change the governor on the air dryer, change the airbags and the shocks, and hopefully this air system will, the suspension system, I should say, will air up, and we can get that thing out here. That's basically what prevented me from bringing it this time, is there's no suspension. It's riding on the stoppers. So hopefully that pans out. But like I say, we'll be leaving here on the 16th. Hopefully that won't take long. So some things I had to consider when setting up this property for the bus is getting it in. Now I put a 16-foot wide gate here, and I tried to make my my entrance as wide as possible, but this is a little narrow road. And right now it wouldn't be bad. I can drive on this, but a couple weeks back I had to pull my neighbor out of the ditch over there, because like I say, this brown clay, when it gets wet, it doesn't hold nothing. It just sinks. So hopefully we can bring the bus down and just back her in. So in theory, I should have about 3 feet on each side to play with, because the bus is roughly, what, 102 inches, so 9 feet, just short of 9 feet, and it's a 16-foot gate, so I should have some wiggle room to make this bend. I'm not even sure how the camera is going to make this look, but it's going to be tight. But I have been impressed with the maneuverability of a bus. Well, as is par for the course, I said dump trucks. They sent me belly dumps. So we'll see how this is going to work. Yeah, if he's got to drive over there, it ain't that big a deal. He's got loads. the advantage of a belly dump, I guess. Last load getting dumped. Here we go. Easy as that. All right, well, we got the pad mostly ready. It could use some more leveling, but it'll do. It'll keep the bus from sinking. We've left this patch here open because this is where the concrete pad's going. And then I left some fill here so that when the shop pad is poured, which is going basically from those trailers to the front of that, and then over to there to that trailer, we'll fill in the rest. We've got a place to put the bus, we've got our paperwork. Now we just got to go make some repairs and get it here. All right, so in order to commence Operation Prevost Freedom, we got to get to Kaliforniastan. Once we're there, we'll repair the airbags, solve the overpressurization of the air system, fix the brake lights, and then hopefully escape California and a couple other states undetected. But we are here in California to liberate the bus from Kaliforniastan. So I've conned some friends and family to come in here and give me a hand. Because like I say, the problem was the air system. So we're changing out the bags and the shocks. And then we've also got to change, I put a new air filter dryer on it. That wasn't my issue. I wish it was. So we're going to change out that little silver thing in the back there. That's the air governor. It's supposed to kick off once it gets to 125 psi, and mine don't. That's why I couldn't bring the bus on the move. So that's what we're going to be doing. All right, well, I didn't film anything yesterday because it was all a learning process, and I didn't film much today either. But like I say, we're trying to do the airbags, and these things are a nightmare. You're going to need at least 2 jacks, preferably 3, because this bogie, you have to almost jack it down to get these bags to fit in here. Shocks are, they're shocks. They're pretty easy, but yeah, we're struggling right now. We got one lug nut here that just will not come off. We even had a tire shop come out and they couldn't get it off. So we're gonna figure that out. But yeah, the other side's done. We got all the bags done. All the shocks are in. We've also haven't sorted out why they're not getting air yet. Prevost has a interlocking system that doesn't feed air to certain things if certain, if the door's open or something like that. So anyhow, that's where we're at. So we just got into get it to work mode, not necessarily get it perfect. So we got everything done. We left under the cover of darkness from California. We wanted to take the 40 so that we weren't going through Los Angeles and El Paso and the Border Patrol Station and all that. So we just kind of took the 40 and then cut down from Albuquerque. All right, so I know I've been terrible about filming this whole escapade, but here's basically a recap of what we've accomplished. So we left Texas on Monday, drove 28 hours straight to Redding, California to liberate the bus. So the airbags, while not a terrible job, proved to be difficult because the previous owner had welded the nuts on the studs on the airbag. Each airbag has 3 bolts that stick out a stud, and a fitting for the airline to go in. Well, in a couple of the bags, they welded the nuts on there, so we had to cut those off, which necessitated a trip to Harbor Freight to get some more tools. But we got those off. It took us 3 days with 3 of us to change those bags out. So if I was going to do this by myself, I allotted about 2 weeks. It shouldn't take that long. An airbag is not a difficult installation, other than you're working with, 30, 40,000 pounds of bus that you got to maneuver. Having 2 air jacks was essential. It made it so much easier. But the problem with that is when a bus has no air in the system, you can't get a jack underneath it. It's too low to the ground, and I don't have one of those high-dollar floor jacks, rated to lift up something as heavy as a bus. So what we ended up doing was driving the bus onto some 4x6 wooden planks. Then I could get a jack under it, and we went from there. We're basically going to use one jack to jack up the wheel, and another jack to lift up the frame high enough to get the bag out, because trying to get a bag out while it's under compression is not easy, and worse, trying to install the new ones was very difficult. What assisted in that was having a vacuum pump used typically for refrigeration to empty out a system. I happen to have that. I would imagine, you could use any other source of a vacuum. I don't know if a little shop vac would have enough to do it, but all you can do is try. But definitely suck the air out of the bag, and we bought some of those 36-inch zip ties to zip tie the bag down in its compressed state, and then we can install it much easier. So I highly recommend doing that. But we did get all the airbags changed out. So once we changed the airbags out, there was no air going to them. Rather than try and determine why, we just bypassed, we stole the air from somewhere else, basically. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the full pressure that the air tank has. Like right now, my air tank's running at 100. It'll charge up to about 125. That was the third issue. I wasn't getting any air to the system. I was getting plenty of air to the brakes, but no air to nothing else. I still have that to a large degree. The air door doesn't operate. A lot of the air systems, the auxiliary systems, still don't operate right now. But we just teed off of a non-essential airline, I'll call it. You don't want to touch the primary and secondary air for the brake system. But we did find an auxiliary line. So we got, the fan wasn't kicking on either because it's an auxiliary. So we tied a line to run back there to the fan, and then we also tapped in for the airbags. They're about half full. Believe me, every time I hit a large pothole, I feel it. But they're up enough to drive, and we're driving, and we've been driving. Sorry, car's pulling off the road. But it's not riding on the stoppers. That was the goal. And looks like we're going to make it. We really haven't had too many issues. I did lose my tail lights for about 2 hours, and then the bus fixed itself, apparently. I've got to have a loose connection back there. The only other problem was initially the air system was charging up to 150 psi. We changed out the governor several times. When I say change it out, I mean we bought a new one. It was charging it to 150, so we backed it down, took it for a test drive, everything went good. But then as we were leaving to go to Texas, I made it about 10 miles, and I wasn't charging air at all. I barely made it into a truck stop before the emergency brake, or when I say emergency brakes, spring brakes. I didn't have enough air pressure to keep those from disengaged. But I was able to get it into a parking spot before I lost all my air pressure. Took the governor off, put it back to full. It's been working fine. So I don't know. I won't call it fixed. It's cobbled together, which is kind of the whole story of this trip.
So I feel I need to point out, I'm doing 74 miles per hour this entire trip. If it's a highway, I'm doing 74. That is the maximum this bus is set to do. Now, I'm sure I can take this in and get that speed limiter pulled off, but this bus will do 74. Most of these hills, you know, save the really big hills, and then I'll drop down to about 50, 55. But I only had 3 of those on this whole 2,000-mile trip. So this just tells you how fast everybody else is going, especially when I get to Texas. Good Lord. I think the minimum speed limit here is 80. So that's the Texas state line straight ahead, but my camera dies 50 feet away from the state line.
Well guys, as you can see, we made it home and we are sitting on the temporary bus pad. The permanent one's going to go here. This is going to be 6 inches of concrete, 18 feet wide, so a person can still work on the bus, pulling tires, stuff like that. That's not till this coming weekend, so we got another 6 days. But yeah, no mechanical issues really whatsoever. I see the inspectors are here. Hi, Inspector. So, what's up for the upcoming future for the bus? Well, she's going to be kind of slow. Like I say, I'm waiting to get this pad poured, and I got a shop pad going in. And then there's going to be a carport for the bus to sit under, 50-footer. That's a big one. We may get to messing around a little bit here and there on the bus, but I don't want to tackle any of the big stuff because I need to get organized. This having stuff just scattered from one end to the other has just made me nuts. I really just need to get organized. I haven't had any way to do that. That's why the shop's going in. I got to get some power ran out here so that we can have some climate control, because it's still hot here. Not terrible. It's probably in the 80s today, but it's warm inside that glass-filled greenhouse, I'll call it. The air does work good even with the one unit. It keeps it cool, but yeah, when there's nothing, there's nothing. So anyhow, I've got some other honeydew projects to finish around the homestead here, but we will get back on the bus, that's for sure. It's just there's just some other things that have to happen before we get into it. Anyhow, that's gonna wrap this one up. So thanks for watching.